What is up, everybody? I'm Miha and welcome to another special Christmas Gatcha episode. Christmas is almost upon us, you know, the time of wholesome celebration, love, peace and sharing. So basically all the good stuff. Well, that is what it's supposed to be anyways, but apparently if you translate that into the Gatcha world, Christmas is the time of greed, nerves, deceptions and rerunning old content alongside communities in total uproar. So if you're an avid Gatcha player, then chances are that you are currently experiencing some of these issues. In that case, you might want to take solace in the fact that you are not alone. So here are 3 Gatcha games that are currently on a Christmas meltdown. Number 1, World Flipper. A new Gatcha game which recently got released and published by the widely beloved Cygames. World Flipper is basically what happens when you leave the Japanese alone with the pinball machine inside a dark room. Oh yeah, they will do the unspeakable. They will turn it into a waifu collecting gacha. World Flipper is weird casual pinball fun with team building aspects, story and multiplayer modes. And strangely enough, I somehow can't tell if this game is meant to be for kids or for adults. Just take a look at the art. It's like the artist has a major in bounciness, if you know what I mean. Anyways, because it's Cygames branded, World Flipper drew a lot of eyes, even outside of Japan, and it was even well received. So why the meltdown now? Apart from the Christmas event being somewhat lackluster, the daily login rewards being crap, the players themselves established a wind meta that was later even reinforced by Cygames' first raid-up banner that featured the wind hero Philia. The players were happy and heavily invested in their wind teams. And now that the banner is over and was replaced by the Christmas banner, Cygames dropped the nerf hammer on the wind meta by nerfing the weapons that were used by said wind teams. As you can imagine, players that spent heavily on the wind meta are pretty much pissed right now. Others are afraid of sudden nerfs and are unsure in what heroes to invest in. The game is like what, 3 to 4 weeks old and they are already undermining the trust of their player base? That is not a good look if you ask me, and I expect it differently from Cygames. Currently the game is bleeding players and is dropping like hotcakes in the Japanese charts. The game is fairly new and I'd imagine that the Japanese are less forgiving to such scummy tactics, so this might actually kill the game. Number 2, Epic 7. Oh boy. The drunk elephant in the Gatcha room. Epic 7, what the hell are you doing? You probably haven't seen my Halloween special in which I was going over the E7 content preview, anticipating the new stuff to be bad. But not only was it bad, it was like a train wreck on steroids. No, it still is a train wreck on steroids. And it's now coming back for the 4th round, just in time to give everybody the middle finger as a Christmas present. It all started in autumn with a long content drought filled with reruns after reruns. The players were anticipating great changes for Epic 7. And you heard stuff like, there is no content now because they are busy working on awesome things for us. Like the pet system, auto battles, world boss. It's gonna be so good. And it was shit. The pet system and auto battles were the first to drop. Pet battles were like a pay-to-win gold sink, and auto battles, which is a feature like in almost every other mobile game right now, is limited by pet snacks currencies. Not only were those features disappointing, they even felt really scummy. Like, Smilegate was aggressively trying to go after the players' wallets. I tried to warn the people on Reddit, but I got a good spanking by the Smilegate apologists. It went something like this. Guys, the new systems are objectively bad, and if we endorse it, we will get more bad stuff in the future. Pets are cute. It's your own fault for being a stupid whale. Don't blame anyone but yourself. Leave Smilegate alone. But I'm free to play. My pets are level 1. What? Why? Where? Fuck you. This experience was kinda disheartening and somewhat ridiculous, so I stopped making Epic 7 content for a while. After this, Smilegate released the long-awaited equipment conversion, and it was yet another gold sink hell with tons of extra RNG attached to it. Instead of helping the players with the gear grind, as advertised by Smilegate, the new system only helped the players to get rid of their gold and their sanity. I tried it myself, and it was a horrible experience. Just look at this crap. What is this? What have I even done to you, Smilegate? At this point, most players finally caught up to the fact that Smilegate went full milking mode on Epic 7, and the voices of unrest grew louder. A week later, it was time to introduce the new world boss, a piece of content that was literally 1 year in the making and promised exciting tactical battles alongside your fellow guildmates. Fun for the whole guild with awesome rewards. And it turned out to be a throwaway one-click forgettable snooze fest with crappy rewards that took away even more stamina from the players. Now the players were fed up. The riots broke out on Reddit. They grabbed the pitchforks and torches and went review bombing the game on the App Store by giving it 1-star reviews. In response to the backlash, Smilegate then implemented some changes to the pet system and the equipment conversion, but in my opinion those changes are still garbage and I won't be bothering with those systems anymore. Christmas was now fast approaching. With their player base on edge, it was now time for Smilegate to show some generosity, appreciation even, to facilitate the healing process. So they launched the web event, which they dubbed Project Santa, and a voting event to show that the players' voices matter to them. In order to win back their hearts and their wallets of their beloved spenders. It almost backfired though, since the event insultingly awarded everybody useless pet snacks for their gimped auto battle system. But hey, after one day, Intern Kun realized his mistake and swapped the rewards for stamina. The voting event was obviously a sham, as they had already planned the Dain banner anyways. A week before Christmas, the train wreck is back in full swing again, as Smilegate dropped their latest update. With their remaining player base now drowning in stamina, Smilegate felt safe enough to implement some more devious changes to Epic 7. Was it the lazy rerun of last year's Christmas event that aggravated the player base? No. Was it the skin shop or the new currency that was introduced alongside it? No. This time, Smilegate took something away from the players. They severely nerfed the contents of the Epic Pass, a piece of content that was praised and loved by the whole Epic 7 community. It now got mutilated, but still had the same price tag attached to it. They also removed a farmable chest from the event store, effectively nerfing the Christmas event too. Well, that kickstarted Riot 2.0 today, with players now diligently posting their farewell messages and discussing alternative games. This new update somehow felt like, Merry Christmas, now give us all your money. Everything they did in the last couple of weeks is somehow connected to monetization in one way or another. Like, they are now trying to monetize every friggin' aspect of the game. I imagine this is what it must feel like to play Raid Shadow Legends. By the way, did you know that Raid Shadow Legends is one of the most ambitious RPG projects of 2019 and has just been released? It has all the features you'd expect from a brand new RPG title. Amazing storyline, awesome 3D graphics, giant boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of champions to collect and customize. Okay, I'm just kidding here. Raid Shadow Legends is probably not that great, so you should stay away from the title. Now back to Epic 7. Will this kill the game? I don't believe so. The writers are still considered the vocal minority, and for new players, Epic 7 still remains a great gaming experience. But every update in the last couple of weeks, months, increased the greed levels of Smilegate linearly. It is estimated that if they keep this up, that by the time they reach a 10-year goal, Smilegate's greed will have exceeded critical mass and will tear space-time apart, effectively forcing reality to collapse in on itself. This will give you something to think the next time you purchase those microtransactions. Number 3. Dragalia Lost. Arguably the black sheep in the Cygames family, had to have a content drought and reruns after reruns at the same time as Epic 7 did. So what happened here? Well, I already mentioned the content drought following the awesome anniversary in September. Well, they did add some content like the Expert and Master Dragon trials, but they were basically the same endgame boss battle, just harder and more unforgiving. But they did add some new weapons attached to those boss battles. Long story short, many players burned out trying to farm those weapons, as it required a lot of diligence and time to even find a team that was able to beat those trials. I myself tried it back then, and yeah, it was a horrible experience, and I gave up after the first day as I soon realized the pointlessness. If it wasn't me that got one-shotted, it was a random teammate, and if nobody got killed, we failed to meet the enrage counter, or timer, and failed anyways. But the story doesn't end here. After the first week, Dragalia Lost was divided by those new weapons into the haves and not-haves. Those who did not have the dragon weapons were might-gated out of the rooms and now had no chance of farming them anymore. Breaking into the cycle by obtaining the first dragon weapon became somewhat of a meme and was now the first priority for many players that were left behind, and their only way of doing so was by begging other players in certain communities to take them along. On the other side, the players that had those new dragon weapons, they were not very fond of the idea of carrying people, as they would run the risk of failing their farm runs themselves by not meeting their DPS requirements. As you might imagine, the community became somewhat toxic back then. Oh, there was this Mega Man event too, which was kinda meh. It had like no story and felt somewhat lackluster, but okay, whatever. And now a couple of weeks later, Cygames announced a new challenging boss battle with a newer, shinier weapon tier, the 6-star weapons. The people who only recently obtained their high dragon weapons and lost a lot of blood, sweat and tears are now fearing that their efforts will be invalidated by those new 6-star weapons. It's not really a meltdown like what just happened in Epic 7 or World Flipper, but there is still palpable unrest growing inside the Dragalia Lost community just a couple of days before Christmas. If you are a Dragalia Lost player, I would recommend to save those ingots for now and maybe try to take it easy on the high dragons. And maybe Cygames will have something cool in store for us for Christmas. Like, check this thing out. Looks promising, right? I would be worried if this was for Epic 7, but in Dragalia, new stuff is actually always pretty good. So, there's that. Special number 4. Honorable mentions. Last Claudia released a lovely Christmas hero for global and Japan in the form of Christmas Theria. But global players aren't allowed to have nice things, so their version got a hefty nerf. But let's be honest here, guys, Last Claudia's gacha is hot garbage, you wouldn't have pulled her anyways. Crossing Voids also received its Christmassy dose of fear, as they announced their Southeast Asian servers to be shut down in early 2020, leaving players to speculate if their global servers will be next, seeing that the Korean version isn't doing too well either. Now you should be sufficiently informed about the ongoings of those gacha games. The video is already long enough, and I'm actually kind of tired of the editing process right now. I do have another video in the works about Epic 7's crafting system. I'm not sure when this will be out. I tested it. It was crazy strange. Well, I don't want to spoil the result. It was bad. Of course it was. It is Epic 7 after all. But in case I won't have that out before Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas and some lovely holidays. My name is Miha, and I'll see you on the next video.